Vermont PBS presents the Governor's Press Conference. Governor Peter Shumliin meets the media to address issues of importance in Vermont.
Great. Thank you, everyone, for being here this afternoon on this chilly spring day. And I wanted to thank you all for being here as we highlight this new cell site of ours, along with the rest of our network build throughout the state of Vermont. And we are extremely proud of what we've done and eager to share some of the specifics with you. My name is Owen Smith. I'm the Regional Vice President for AT&T here in Vermont. I'd also like to thank Governor Shumliin for being here with us today. And I'd also like to recognize some other people that are here with us besides myself and the Governor. We've got Patty Jacobs with AT&T, the New England President for AT&T. We've got Commissioner Chris Recchia with the Department of Public Service, Tom Torty with the Lake Champlain Regional Chamber of Commerce, and we've got Jim Porter with the Department of Public Service, Kirsten Bourgeois with the Agency of Commerce, and I'd also like to thank the Verberg family for hosting this event with us, and also allowing us to have and others to have a cell site here. And where is Robert Klein? I'd like to introduce Robert Klein, who's here. He's our Director of Network Engineering for New England. And I think we'll probably have some questions at the end that we can certainly answer for you. So we picked this site. This is one of our latest sites that we've turned on. You can see 3 silos here, and AT&T is in that 3rd silo. We've extended the top, and one of the things we like about this particular site is that if you didn't know that there was cell tower equipment located here, you can't see it, you wouldn't know it. And certainly from a distance, there's no sign of that, which we try to do all over is wherever we can. About 5 miles from here, a few miles from here, the Williston rest area. Many of you drove by there this morning. If you look up in the cupola, we also have a full-fledged cell site there as well, which again you would not see, and you've probably either seen or maybe haven't seen the faux pine trees that we also have throughout the state and in other states. So whenever we can, we try to hide the cell sites where you just can't see them. So at this point, I'd like to invite Patty Jacobs to come up and say a few words.
Again, as Owen said, thank you all for being here this afternoon. We're so excited about this cell site, and I really want to thank Governor Shumliin for being here with us as we announce the turning on of this site. We're also really excited about our investment in the state of Vermont. Over the past 3 years, we've invested more than $60 million in our network here. And we've made that investment for a number of reasons. We want to serve our customers as effectively as we can. But I will also tell you that this investment has been made, and the foundation of it has been Governor Shumliin's leadership and his commitment to bringing high-speed broadband to Vermont residents. He has created an environment for companies to come in and invest, and we are so grateful to him for his leadership on broadband here in Vermont. Back to this site, it is not good with numbers, but this site, of course, is boosting coverage for heavily traveled Route 89. It carries roughly 150 hours worth of voice calls and enough data for 4,800 song downloads every day, and that's on an average day. I also want to thank our landlords who were so cooperative with us in putting the site in and allowing us to build the site. You guys have been terrific to work with, and we really thank you and your father. It's also, the other thing that we want to do is recognize the role of local officials in bringing broadband to Vermont. We have had the privilege of working with outstanding, committed local officials here. When we build a site, we try to do it, we work hard to do it in a way that is responsive and sympathetic and sensitive to the concerns of the local community. And so when we work with local officials who tell us what the concerns are and are willing to work with us to address those concerns, we can always find a site and a solution that is sensitive and responsive to those needs. So I want to thank the local officials across the state of Vermont for doing that and working with us. Finally, the last thing I want to say is this site was constructed and is maintained by local contractors. So we worked with local electricians, local builders, local fence installers, and so we're really excited to be working with the great people here of Vermont in constructing these facilities. With that, I would just like to again thank Governor Shumliin for his leadership on bringing broadband investment here into the state of Vermont, and without further ado, introduce your Governor, Peter Shumliin.
Thank you, Patty. Appreciate it. Thank you, Patty. Thank you, Owen. Thank you, AT&T. Thank you, Anya, and your entire family for making this tower possible. I know the cows can now hear you now, so that's good.
And
no
they can
more.
download
No more.
their
They're not.
music.
Yeah, that's right. They're downloading favorite music. And they can be on their cell phones and not get cut off in a Richmond hole. That's a big deal. Hey, listen. Thank you to all. I want to thank my department, not only my commissioner, Kirsten Bourgeois at Economic Development has been working hard to pull this public-private partnership together. In fact, Kirsten's the only one who came with appropriate footwear because she's from West Swanton. Jim Porter, the entire team. This is a big deal. Anyone who does business, lives, or gets near Chittenden County knows that when you get to Richmond, we always said, we're hitting a Richmond hole. We're going to lose you. Now that hole has been fixed. And this is happening across the state of Vermont. We can't grow jobs. We can't enjoy our quality of life. We can't be in the 21st century without high-speed internet to every last mile of Vermont, which we are delivering on, and improved cell service. We all know that Vermont's one of the most difficult areas in the globe to get universal coverage of cell service. So we won't get there soon. But what we can do is work together with AT&T and our other providers to improve our cell service and do it smart. And that's what this project's all about. If you drove up to this farm, you wouldn't know that this is now one of the towers that's taking care of the Richmond hole. If you drive past our rest area up the road, you wouldn't know that it's one of the transmission centers for taking care of the Richmond hole. So this is really an example of when public-private partnerships come together, government, private industry, to solve big problems for Vermonters, to grow jobs, to improve our quality of life. I want to thank AT&T and my entire team. We've now put in over 400 towers because we've improved the permit process in a bill that we passed in 2011 that expedited this process, worked together with communities. It's a group effort. We will continue to make progress. This is yet another example of critical progress to jobs and quality of life. So thank you to AT&T for the $60 million they've invested, and to the many other providers that are joining us in this effort. Appreciate it.
Thank you. You bet. Thank you, Governor. And guys, I just want to say that you have a governor that is very, very committed and involved in this process, in a department, in a government that has been very helpful. And I can tell you that that's not the case in all the places that we do business. And it's one of the main reasons why AT&T is investing what it is investing here in the state. So at this point, I'd like to invite Tom Torty, president of the Lake Champlain Chamber, to say a few words.
Thank you. I'm very pleased to be here today with the governor and with AT&T. As you know, the Lake Champlain Chamber is the largest business organization in the state. And although our name is Lake Champlain, we have members across the state. We have members in the far northeast kingdom. We have them in southeast and southwestern Vermont, all across the state. And this issue of connectivity has been huge for us. We hear it all the time from our members. I'm going to repeat a lot of what's just been said, but I think it's important to make that point. Number one, we have to thank the governor and his leadership. When he ran 6 years ago, this governor took on one of the most intractable problems that we had in Vermont, which was connectivity. He understood that we needed to connect all Vermonters so that we were not living in the mid-20th century, that our businesses, whether or not they were in the Northeast Kingdom or in southern Vermont or in Tunbridge, Vermont, could join the 21st century, that we could have a robust, growing, and thriving private sector economy here in Vermont. And he has made that promise. We're meeting that promise, and this is one of the things we're doing today. Also in that process, what he did was he respected the core values of Vermonters, as did AT&T when they put up this site. We worried about the aesthetics, and we wanted to make sure that these towers were not a blight on our landscape. We wanted to respect, the governor wanted to respect, AT&T wanted to respect the community process, making sure that community members could have, through the 248 process, a voice into how these things were going to be set up. We went through that process, and the process sometimes takes a while. It's never clean, it's never easy, but in the end it produces durable solutions like we have here today. And then AT&T went even further. And as many of you know, they're in the process of a merger with DirecTV. And when that happens, and we hope the federal regulators approve that because it makes sense, we're going to have even higher broadband connectivity in the islands in Addison County and Lamoille County, places that need to grow businesses, they need to grow jobs, and they need that bandwidth and connectivity to do it. So as the governor has said, as AT&T has said, this is a true public-private partnership that works. It benefits government, it benefits the private sector, it benefits all Vermonters, whether or not you're working at home, working at a business, or you're in the Canaan school trying to help your kids in 6th grade learn about what's going on in the world. So on behalf of the business community in the state of Vermont, I'd like to thank the governor for his leadership and AT&T for your support and leadership in moving this forward. Thank you. Governor, thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you, Tom. And that pretty much wraps things up. Again, we want to thank all of you for being here. And I know the governor has a very tight schedule, but I think you know, questions related to the cell site or what AT&T has done would be welcomed at this point.
What is the percentage right now of coverage in Vermont? I mean, I know you're shooting for 100%. There's still a lot of dead spots in Vermont.
So let me be clear. When I ran for governor and as governor, what I promised to do was bring high-speed internet access to every last mile, with the exception of one misspeak. And that's what we're trying to do. We are now, what, Kirsten, 99% of the way? Yes. We've got a solution for virtually every address in Vermont. So we're making real progress. We have delivered on the promise of high-speed internet access. We're building out some of the last locations. In terms of cell service, the good news is that as we move to 4G, in many of our we're driving fiber as deep as far as we can. We then are building out a 4G wireless network from there. And as we do that, we're improving cell service in many of those locations. But really what this is about is working together with our providers wherever we can to get improved cell service. And it's a joint effort. Both are equally important. But Vermont geographically is one of the toughest places in the world to get universal cell service because of our hills and valleys.
One of the things that we've asked for 2 months now from your Commissioner of Public Safety for the list of all the dead spots for cell service and radio service and everything like that. And he's balked at giving the public records out. Can you move him along on that? You know, he doesn't seem to want to give those dead spots up.
I better let someone know whether we've got a map of that kind. Come on up.
We are, well, the Department of Public Safety
not
was
but,
Public Safety.
But
Keith Flynn
to...
was asked, the Department of Labor, the settlement with the Department of Labor with that shooting up there in Johnson, they were required to list all the dead spots that the dispatchers couldn't reach the troopers and the cell service that were dead. When will we get that list?
I don't know anything about it, but I'll look into it.
Thanks.
We do have a map of areas to be served, you know, broadband speeds as well as wireless. And to give the governor more credit than I think you were willing to take on the wireless piece, we've actually gone from 85% to 92% of the addresses covered with wireless. Now that's addresses, so homes. And we still have lots of dead spots like this on the roads, but we're making progress.
We've also made progress on something I talked to AT&T about numerous times, which is the entire Route 91 corridor, which, as you know, just a few years ago, you know, from White River, actually from St. Jay to the Massachusetts line, it was very spotty. And AT&T is making real progress improving that corridor, which is critical. So thank you. Keep it up.
We will.
Can we ask AT&T what's the next?
Come on up to
you're
these
shooting
mics
for?
a little bit.
Pardon?
What's the next one you're shooting for? I mean, is there another area that you're focusing on?
Well, we're actually focused all over the state.
Yeah.
We just turned on a new site the end of January in Newfane, in an area that had no coverage whatsoever. And so we're proud of that. And my network guy's over here, so I've got to whisper this, but we've got probably 8 sites or so that we're going to be turning on this year, and a number of other sites that we're looking at. Our network build is extremely fluid and changes constantly.
Where are those 8? Where conceivably?
I don't have the list. They're scattered all over the state. I could get you a list of those, but I don't have them with me. And we've got another 15 or 20 sites that we're looking at for next year, although we have not confirmed our build plan for 2016.
Some citizens officially been turned on, or is that?
Yes, the site is on.
Yeah. And I'll never forget it, but I was driving up here in October, and I have a driver, so I can speak legally on my cell phone. I just want to make that clear. And I'm driving up the highway, and I said to the person, because I know the spot, we all know the tree, I said, I'm going to lose you, and I didn't. And I bet other people in late October joined me in finding that the Richmond hole had been solved. That's because of this tower and the Williston Tower and the work AT&T's been doing.
Late October it was turned on.
Late October.
October 23rd, I think, is when we turned it on.
You were driving the 24th.
I drive every single day.
There was a woman who died in the Northeast Kingdom earlier this year because she was trying to get to her neighbor's house to use the phone since there's no cell coverage up where she lives in the Northeast Kingdom. Are there active plans right now to get coverage switched on up there for cell phones?
Let's be clear. We are the toughest state probably in the nation to get universal cell coverage because of our hills and valleys. Geographically, this is one of the toughest places in the world to get universal cell service. So, I have been focused on universal broadband, high speed to every last mile. We're delivering on that promise. We're improving cell service as we go, but it's going to take years to get universal access to every single dirt road, every corner of Vermont.
Great, thank you all.
Hey, thank you all.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Watch the Governor's Press Conference each week at this time here on Vermont PBS World. You can also log on and see previous press conferences at our website, vermontpbs.org.